Let's go.
Across the planet, billions wake each morning believing they live in a functioning democracy. They vote, protest, post opinions, and argue endlessly online. But beneath the surface, the structure of power remains untouched. What appears as debate is often design. What looks like resistance is, in truth, regulation.
Acting.
This investigation explores the mechanism known as controlled opposition, the art of managing dissent while maintaining control. Definition and design. Controlled opposition refers to the deliberate creation or manipulation of an opposition movement by those already in power. It provides the appearance of a legitimate challenge to authority but functions as a placeholder, an engineered safety valve that releases pressure without changing the system itself. Function to simulate democracy. Purpose to placate discontent. Mechanism to ensure that no alternative can truly threaten the ruling hierarchy. A political historian explains that this tactic has existed since monarchs financed their own critics to appear tolerant, but in the digital age it has become an algorithmic science. Political theater parties bicker, pundits shout, yet their funding flows from identical pipelines. Corporations, lobby groups, global financiers. Every opposition leader is monitored,
I'm getting too
measured,
excited off of
and
this
when
one.
necessary, manufactured. A whistleblower from a policy consultancy describes how narratives are seeded months in advance. Opposition victories are tolerated when they reinforce the boundaries of acceptable reform. Change is permitted only within the perimeter of control. The illusion of contest sustains the faith of the governed. People feel represented. The elite feels secure. Entertainment and distraction. Where politics fails to pacify, entertainment completes the task. Rebellion becomes fashion. Protest becomes content. The industry sells defiance like perfume, design packaged and fleeting. Songs of revolution trend on charts owned by the same conglomerates that fund political campaigns. Outrage is commodified. The citizen becomes both performer and consumer of dissent. Information and propaganda. Information control no longer requires censorship. It requires saturation. When every voice can speak, the truth drowns in noise. Media ecosystems cultivate polarity because conflict drives engagement. Each narrative is an echo chamber feeding the algorithm. Controlled opposition thrives in this fog. It guides the narrative away from systemic critique toward endless identity skirmishes. The population debates symptoms while the architects preserve the disease. Social media as behavioral engineering platforms reward emotional intensity, not accuracy. What begins as activism becomes analytics. Every click is harvested, every argument monetized. The opposition no longer needs suppression, it is incentivized to exhaust itself. The algorithm predicts the next outrage before citizens feel it. In this predictive democracy, the illusion of choice becomes the product, the perspective of power. To the ruling elite, controlled opposition is not malevolence, it is management. They see society as volatile, democracy as an experiment requiring containment. Order is
This is
maintained by
perfect.
giving the masses an illusion of agency.
Damn.
One
We don't even need to
executive
watch
calls
the
it
other
the
ones.
equilibrium of chaos. Let them scream as long as they keep shopping. Reflection and aftermath. Every empire perfects its own theater. The stage today is digital, global, self-updating. People are free to choose their cage color and their hashtag. The opposition marches in circles, convinced it is moving forward. Controlled opposition is the silent contract of the modern age. Comfort traded for authenticity, spectacle for sovereignty. In the end, the elites preserve what they call stability, and the rest of humanity mistakes participation for power. Fade to black, a heartbeat, then silence.
I don't know if this is right to bring up regarding this video, but I'm just gonna throw it all out there this time. Fuck it. Y'all notice how this week all these NBA games done went into overtime? I see one's going into overtime. I'm like, okay, that's a cool little thing going on. I see another one going into overtime, another one, another one, another one, another one. It's probably 6 or 18 or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there. But it's starting to look weird. Like, I'm not trying to point the finger at anybody again, but when you start seeing this stuff and see how they doing it, you start opening your eyes a little bit, and you're just like, what is going on? With all this going on, they're still like, oh, don't forget about Christmas. Don't forget about Halloween. Don't forget to buy our turkeys. Don't forget to spend money. Oh, panic, but don't forget to spend money.
Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk, all this shit, man. This is all by design. All these people are control opposition, and you sheep fall for it all the time, man.
Yep.
Anybody that's truly against the system is not gonna get no kind of screen time. I don't care what you saying, bro. Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, all these people still be going viral on TikTok, YouTube, all these other places while y'all claim that, oh no, like the system against them. Yet their videos are trending everywhere. You sheep, boy, I tell you. Like common sense ain't so common when it come to y'all. Like somebody who's truly against the system, they voice ain't getting out there. Period, point blank. YouTube gonna keep them banned, like everything, bro. Like y'all be like, oh well, it's not their personal account. Like, bro, that don't mean nothing. Like these people was truly speaking knowledge, truly speaking something, bro. Like the system, like they wouldn't have no platform.
They wouldn't have a voice.
Bro. Like at the end of the day, the tyrants control the internet. So y'all live in fantasy world, bro. This is all control opposition. So you gotta focus on them. Just like, with the left and the right, y'all focus on that battle. So now y'all focus on the battles between fucking Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson, and Nick Fuentes, all this other stupid shit. You can't even fucking make a fire by yourself. You don't know how to hunt and trap. Like, look at you, bro. You ain't talking about the FEMA camps, right? So we ain't gonna talk about the FEMA camps, right? They just disappeared. We ain't gonna talk about who the government really wanna come after, and that's the constitutionalists, that's the real militias, that's the real patriots. We ain't gonna talk about that. No, we're gonna talk about fucking Israel and all this other shit. But not about all these Walmarts closing with ties of fucking FEMA. Like you motherfuckers, boy, I tell you, sheep.
I didn't know anything about that. And the whole thing about our ally, everyone knows what's going on. And stuff is just getting real weird. It's real weird. Let's keep watching this.
Can't anymore, guys. Has anybody else heard Tucker Carlson denying the situation in Nigeria, or at the very least, he is downplaying the situation with Nigeria and the Christian persecution going on? Some people are calling it a genocide. He had somebody on his podcast talking about how there is no genocide going on in Nigeria, how it's all just propaganda. And I'm just so sick and tired of this world that we live in with social media, and everybody is just controlled opposition. Like, unbelievable. Either this or that, and both sides just spew out their propaganda, and it's almost too much. It really is. Like, it's almost too much. Where I actually pray for some type of power outage, some type of EMP. Now, I don't actually pray for that, so calm down, because I know how that would be devastating for a lot of people, but it would just almost be freeing at a point where you don't have to hear all these different voices, all these different talking heads with their own agenda, their own, backing behind them to push whatever narrative or rhetoric they want to push. And Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens are two individuals I do not trust. Same thing on the other side. Don't get me wrong. Like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Take everything with a grain of salt, but we need to have discernment, understanding there's always a deeper agenda, deeper motives, and, there's a lot of talk, especially with Tucker and Candace always talking about how Israel is funding people and whatnot, but why don't they talk about any other country funding other individuals?
That is true.
Countries like Qatar or the UAE. Like, there's a lot of other countries who fund people. I mean, literally, there's so many, but they only focus on Israel. And again, I'm not here to be an apologist for Israel, because every nation is evil right now, and there's a whole bunch of evil crap going on. But to really highlight and focus on Israel, but don't talk about Qatar. Don't talk about them. No. It's just very hypocritical. And I just wanted to convey this message to you guys in a short little message here on a Sunday night. There's propaganda on all sides. Do not be deceived. Take everything with a grain of salt, understanding that we live in a spiritual war, which is a psychological war, and they want your mind. They want your thoughts, and they want you so confused as confused as a termite in a yo-yo, so then you have no idea what's going on. But this is why we focus upon the Lord. We rest in the life, death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus, that we trust in the blood of Christ, and then we just continue to just lean upon him for all understanding and wisdom, and also knowing that you are not going to understand everything down here. It's going to be okay. But always, always remember that the enemy is in control of this world right now. So he is going to have so many lies out there and so many agents for him, people who don't even know that they're being agents for him. So you just got to be
King
careful
James
out
was an
there. And it's
agent
just
for him.
unbelievable, especially with what's going on in Nigeria. From what I have seen, it is horrific. And then for Tucker to come on and downplay it is just distasteful, to say the
It
least.
is.
But, you know, there's a lot of horrible things going on. So pray for those who are being persecuted everywhere. Everywhere there is just suffering, but Jesus shall deliver us all in his time, so we can rest upon him. So with that being said, guys, I love you all so much, all right? God bless. Remember, the just shall live by faith.
I just recently heard about the stuff going on in Nigeria, and I might be speaking wrong. Apparently, there was something going on in Sudan too. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of bad stuff in the world, and it's not just the Israeli government portraying that. That is 100% true. 100% true.
So remember a few days ago when I posted the video that the Erica Kirk and Candace Owens thing is great for some, because it does help open the eyes and awaken some people that are very, very asleep, but that it is a controlled narrative, that Candace Owens is controlled opposition.
Yeah.
And of course, it turns out I'm right. Yesterday, they had their private meeting in Nashville, no cameras, press, nothing like that. It's all a mystery. And today, every single post.
Once she said there was no cameras or nothing, I already knew. I felt disappointed and betrayed.
On Charlie Kirk is all of a sudden scrubbed clean from Candace Owens' Instagram. Like it's in its entirety. This is what a controlled opposition looks like. And it's what happens when they circle too close to the truth. They have to be shut down. The narrative completely gets wiped clean. They have to go through like a sanitizing tour, and the puppets will reset the stage, and they all hope that we're too stupid to remember, and we're too numb and dumbed down by our technology and the fact that most Americans are bleeding dry currently to even dig anymore. That's what they're hoping. And you all need to hold their hands to the fire. This isn't just a PR move. This is how the false alliances of sort implode under real light. Everyone on the internet has hopped on this, way more than what they expected. They thought it would just happen and it wouldn't have the reaction from the people the way that it has. And so when you get that close
and now Candace is trying to say, oh, all the people that are hating on me, those are just bots. They're bots.
And all this real light is shined on it. This is the end result. You can't claim truth and being a truther while you still bend the knee and serve the masters behind closed doors. You can't serve Oz and claim to be a truth forward truther bringing podcaster. The silence that is coming in, it echoes exactly what that meaning was. And if you think that this isn't strategic, like, come on, like, think again. This machine is now on a giant rebranding mission, to absorb what would be the next wave of awakening people. And they see it. They see people opening their eyes and erasing their name from the spell. And remember, you guys all have this power. Take back your power. But a lot of people are still learning truly how psyops even work. So you have to pay attention to every detail of this, not what is said, but also what suddenly disappears.
Speaking facts, and beautifully spoken too. Anyways, yeah, everything that she said was true. And what gets me is after the meeting that she had with Erica Kirk. Like I said, I already knew the doors were closed. There were no cameras. There were no nothing. If you ask me, she probably walked into the room and saw Charlie Kirk was alive. Because this is all fishy.
So am I the only one that feel like they're
Yes.
trying to distract us from something? Like, why is everybody in the music industry dissing each other? Like, literally, you got the Drake beef, you got the Chris Brown beef, you got the Sukiyana and whatever old girl named beef. There's never been a time in history that I can recall that we had all these major artists dissing each other. What are they trying to distract us from? And I always say, when something is too entertaining, now I gotta keep my eyes out, because it might be something big that's on the way. Then you got people so influenced by the music, you got people vandalizing people's actual businesses. People's houses really getting clapped up, which add on to the distraction. Like, you know how when you playing cards, like Uno cards or something, and you got that one play that you're gonna use at the end. Like, you got 2 draw 4s that's gonna go back to back to end the game off. Y'all feel like they using a special move right now, because what's actually going on? Why is everybody beefing? Can somebody answer that to me? Y'all let me know what y'all think. What's the reason for them beefing in the comments? Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned.
Look up what was happening in the world the day that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, and look up what was happening in the world the day that Kanye West met Donald Trump. I think this was almost 10 years ago. But every time a major event or whatever happens, it's usually controlled opposition. Just like when Kanye West took the mic from Taylor Swift. No one even knew who Taylor Swift was. That had to be planned. Everyone knew who that girl was after that. It's incredible. And what? She was helping him over the phone write the song, I Made That Bitch Famous. It's ridiculous. And we get so involved in it, and it's just a fucking distraction.
They're not aliens.
They've always been